This is Marcy Anderson with the Fishing Report for Southeast Kentucky. On Laurel River Lake, anglers are having success catching catfish, so try fishing with night crawlers in the main tributaries of the lake. Bluegill are still being caught on mealworms and crickets. They don't have a lot of size to them, but the numbers have been really good this summer. Catches of spotted bass have increased the last few weeks, and we're seeing good numbers of largemouth bass being caught mostly on topwater baits. A few walleye are being picked up by bottom-bouncing night crawlers or by trolling deep-diving crankbaits. On Lake Cumberland, striped bass fishing has been good in the lower end of the lake. Stripers are moving into deeper waters, so try fishing in the 60 to 80 foot range with either live alewives and shad or by trolling dollflies and jigs if you can't get live bait. On the Cumberland tailwater, the Corps of Engineers have started to operate the sluice gates to increase oxygen levels in the tailwater, which is helping to turn on the trout bite a little bit. Spinner baits, spoons, and power baits are some good options to try right now. Be sure to check the generation schedule to avoid getting caught in rising waters. So as always, good luck and good fishing.
Hi, this is Eric Cummins with your Southwest Kentucky Fishing Report. Cumberland River tailwater trout fishing has been good with a variety of baits, spinners, small cranks, jigs, waxworms, and red worms. For lesser boat traffic and angler traffic, fish from Burkesville down to the Cloyd's landing area. Barren River Lake, the lower end of the lake is a little off due to reduced oxygen conditions. Fish in the upper halves or 2/3 of the lake in shallower water and 5 to 7 foot, as bass are starting to chase shad in those areas. Crappie are also best up shallow near the shad and 8 to 10 foot of water near brush or structure. Catfish also still good on jigs and jugs and etc. in the upper halves of the lake arms. Green River Lake thermocline has dipped to about 25 foot, but fish are hanging up shallower there as well. Bass have been fair on top waters early, and swim baits and crankbaits in shad and alewife colors. Or crappie have been fair in 8 to 12 foot of water with minnows, jigs, or trolling with crankbaits. Muskie also fair at the mouths of feeder creeks with crankbaits and spinners. This is a great time of year to wade or float fish local streams and rivers before the leaf litter starts to get heavy for bass, sunfish, and muskie. Barren River above the 65 bridge up to the dam is good. Barren River below Bowling Green down to Greencastle is also a good stretch. Green River from the Green River Lake Dam down to Mammoth Cave Park, also an excellent stretch to fish for all of those. And then Drake's Creek from Franklin down to the confluence of Barren River, also another good stretch to try for any of those. As always, good luck and good fishing. Be sure your life jacket's got your back.
This is Rob Rold in the Northwestern Fishery District with a fishing update for our area lakes. Our two main reservoirs, Rough River Lake and Nolin River Lake, are both at summer pool, holding steady, and surface temperatures dropped into the low 80s. Bass fishing at both lakes has been fair, however the bass seem to be widely scattered and difficult to pattern. Best method has been just to cover a lot of water to try to find the fish. And when you do, topwater baits and shad patterns have been productive in the very early mornings, and on later in the day as it warms up, shad-colored medium running crankbaits have proved to be the best. Jigs with plastic trailers have been picking up fish on some of the more steeper rocky banks, and most of the bites seem to be coming in the 10 to 15 foot depth range. White bass fishing at Nolin has been fair. White bass jumps are scattered. Again, they're best in the early morning and last a little bit longer on the cloudy days. Some people have been catching them under floating lights. Float lights and then fish jigging spoons or minnows at about 12 feet. And over the river channel seems to be the best when you're using the floating lights. Hybrid striped bass jumps have been scattered at rough. Again, they seem to be most productive early in the morning. Anglers are catching the hybrids by casting swim baits into the jumps when you can find a jump, or by trolling them along the drop-offs from flats into the main river channel. Crappie fishing has been fair as well. Using jigs or minnows, fish some of the deeper brush piles. And most crappie seem to be in the 12 to 14 foot depth range at rough, a little bit deeper at Nolin. They're around 14 to 18 feet deep there. Fishing for catfish is still good at both reservoirs, using live bait for flatheads or some of the commercially prepared or cut baits for channel catfish, and again fish them along some of the steeper rocky banks late in the day or at night. Catfish have also been doing well at Lake Malone, again on the steeper rocky banks there, as well as the mine lakes on Peabody WMA. Anglers at our Fens Lakes have also been doing well with the catfish that have been stocked there. Wayman Morris Lake, Panther Creek Park Lake, and Yellow Creek Park Lake in Davis County, Madisonville City Park Lake at Madisonville, and Bevel Park in Litchfield. The Ohio River, although it is falling now, is still muddy. It is coming down. However, the projections are that it will rise again fairly quickly, and that's because of all the remnants of Hurricane Florence that are going through the upper part of the watershed. That'll be down here in a few days. So not much really happening on the Ohio. Green River, however, is back down to normal pool, or on its way back down the normal pool, should be there shortly. And fishing for catfish, hybrid striped bass, and striped bass should be picking up in the next few days. Fishing below the lock and dams, especially at Spotsville, Lock 1 and Lock 2 in Calhoun. That is an update from the Northwestern District. Please remember, always be safe when you're on the water. Always wear your life jackets. Thank you.